Hey y'all, real quick, just wanted to say there is a brand new podcast up. Everybody's been asking me, when am I gonna bring the podcast back? The podcast is now back, 1 hour and 48 minutes of tips all about how to get you through this summer heat. Linked in the description below, linked in the eye up there. Hope you enjoy it, hope you get something out of it. I go through cool season and warm season lawns in the heat and give you tons of tips.
Hey, what you guys doing over here? Why you tearing up the public lands? Look at you. Look at you. You don't even see me. You're just your face is so far into that freaking grass. Boy, you're an ugly son of a gun. Look at you. Hey, why you tearing the grass up like that, huh? Who you think you are? You didn't pay for that.
Hey, what's up y'all? Happy Independence Day. Actually, I think this will probably come out Sunday, the day after, so hope you had a great time with family, friends, enjoying the independence of the great United States of America. Now today, this is actually 4th of July, and what am I doing? I'm spraying and praying, because I think that's a great thing to do on Independence Day, especially that praying part. Now, as you can see, I didn't do a major 4th of July celebratory video. I kind of put all my effort into the Father's Day video, but there's a ton of guys that in the community that really went all out and made some awesomely creative videos. I'm gonna link those in the description below. Check those out because we have some really creative people in this community, and I really think that their videos, that all the work they put in should be highlighted and you guys should see them. Now, this video isn't gonna have a ton of tips in it. In fact, what I'm doing today is I'm actually making videos for customer service because we have so many customers now that purchase the next products and stuff like that. And no, this is not a sales video, but I need to kind of do some videos to show them like how to use the Ortho Dial N Spray, how to use a pump sprayer, and then answer the big question is, can I mix all the biostimulants together and spray them all at one time? We get that question so much, can I mix them all together? My only guess is that all of you have farmers in your heritage and that you think you have to put everything down in one miracle application and be done. And that's not the case. The biostimulant pack is made for you to apply one thing now, another thing next month, another thing next month. Now, you can go more than that if you want to, but you don't have to. You don't have to run this marathon in 1 hour. You can, spend the full 4 hours to get the marathon in properly, or in our case, 4 quarters or 4 seasons. So anyway, that's what that's about. And again, this is not a sales thing. If you guys want to buy humic acid somewhere else, you'll still benefit because I'm going to talk to you about how the Ortho Dial N Spray works, as well as give you a pump sprayer option to get those liquids down efficiently and quickly. And I don't want you to think I haven't been putting in work. I actually have a really cool video scheduled for next week that I've actually been working on most of the day today. That's why I'm sweating already. So look for an awesome video next week. Okay, so I'm going to show you all the inner workings of the Ortho Dial N Spray, how it works, why it works, how to modify it so it works better. But then also in this video, I'll give you just a straight set and forget. If you don't want to get through all that, I'll try to link that like in a specific section so you can just go to that, because it's basically do this, go. I have that type of a setting for you too. But for those of you that like to understand everything about it, you like to kind of hack it, you like to understand the why behind the settings, that's what this part of the video is for. So I have here too, this is a brand new one. This is the JP Custom. This was made for me specifically by John Perry when he came here. I think it was last year. And this one still works fine. I've had no problems with it, so I'm gonna keep it. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to modify this one real quick. And that's the first thing I wanna say. This is a cheap piece of plastic. It's $10, okay? So if it doesn't work, even with all these modifications, what I typically recommend you do is throw it away and get another one. You can't send it back with the mods, but again, it's $10, okay? I mean, people pay $125 for a spreader. And the thing about it is, once you get one of these that works, it'll last you well over a year if you take care of it. Okay, so I'm gonna apply 2 products today, Humic 12 and Microgreen. Microgreen is the one that people typically have the most challenges with. That's one of the reasons I'm gonna apply that one, but we're gonna apply Humic 12 first. We're not gonna mix them together. Okay, so here are the modifications that I recommend for the Ortho Dial N Spray. The first one is cut this straw off, and cut it off a good 2 to 3 inches up here, because you don't necessarily need it to flap around in here. The reason they have it so long is so that it can stretch to the corners, but it doesn't need to do that because when you're moving, the liquid's moving around anyway. So as long as it stretches to the bottom, it's okay. So measure out to the bottom and then add about 1 inch, and that's where you cut it off. Now you do want to keep the weight, so you put the weight back on, and then get yourself a cable tie, and then just tie it up. That'll hold the weight for you. Don't pinch the tube closed though. Okay, now your modifications are done. Now don't forget, if you ever do get a little bit of clogging, you can actually pull this a little bit here. See that? That's called the boop 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And while you're doing that, have water going through it and it'll clear the system out. Either way, there you go. Now you're ready to spray, and that's the mods that you do. All right, now as far as how this works, I typically recommend that you set this on the 8-ounce setting. Just leave it there. That's gonna be the widest open, and I'll show you why that's important in a second. But let me go through the numbers real quick with you. So this is the little manual that comes with the Dial N Spray, and you should read this. This will actually open up your understanding of how it works. But I'm gonna go over here, and you're gonna see here, Información sobre Dial N Spray. Or if you go here, you're gonna see dispenses approximately 2 gallons of water per minute. So that means from the factory, now again, your pressure of your hose can affect that. But for the most part, home water systems are gonna have enough pressure, and then this thing is gonna regulate it from there. That 2 gallons a minute come out of the end of that hose, come out of the end of that unit there. It's currently on the bird mouth setting, and that's a fine one to use. It'll give you kind of the finest mist pattern. So 2 gallons per minute come from the end of this sprayer when you have the water on and you have the trigger depressed. What this setting is telling you is how many ounces of concentrate are gonna be sucked out of this tank and mixed with each gallon of water. So for example, if I have it on 8, that means that 8 ounces of concentrate's coming out of that tank, and it's gonna get mixed with each gallon of water and sprayed out the end. So that means therefore, if this sprays 2 gallons per minute, this is gonna output 16 ounces per minute out of that tank. Now again, I'm gonna give you a foolproof set it and forget it way to do this in a minute, but I'm taking you through it. So right now, we have our Dial N Spray set on 8. This Dial N Spray has a 32-ounce tank. So that means then if this tank was full, it would take 2 minutes for it to empty. So again, just picture in your mind that this is full, 32 ounces. 8 ounces per gallon, 2 gallons a minute. That means that 16 ounces comes out a minute. That means 32 ounces comes out in 2 minutes. Now here's the kicker. You don't have to fill up this entire tank with only concentrate. You can actually fill a quarter of it with concentrate and fill the rest with water. It doesn't matter. It's still gonna get applied evenly across the area. So what I recommend with all of these products is you never do more than 2,000 square foot of lawn space with one fill. Now I know I'm losing some of you, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you this on my lawn. When you're using next products, never try to do more than 2,000 square feet at one time. But some of you might be thinking, well, Al, if I can only do 2,000 square feet at a time, that's gonna take a long time to do my lawn. Well, 2 things there. Number 1, you don't have to do your entire lawn at one time. You can do half the lawn this weekend, half the lawn the next weekend. We have an app that'll help you track that. I'll link that below, but don't think you have to do everything in one day. But even so, even if you had, let's say, an 8,000 square foot lawn, that means you're gonna have to fill 4 times, and it takes 2 minutes each time. So what is that, like 8 minutes of spraying? Maybe 5 minutes in between? I mean, you're not even at an hour of work here, really. And again, it's spraying and praying. It's good exercise for your spirit and for your body. All right, so this is my main stage, and my main stage is 2,000 square feet. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply, and I'm gonna do the humic 12 first and show you how that's done, and then I'm gonna show you that you can do the same thing with the microgreen. Now the humic 12 is 6 ounces per 1,000. You can do between 3 and 9 ounces per 1,000, but I'd recommend just stick with the 6 ounces per 1,000. And I'll even give you a biostimulant schedule here on the screen at the end of the video if you kind of want to see how I recommend you should apply it. That also happens to line up with our free app that shows you exactly step by step what to put down and when to put it down. The sun is at a terrible position for this, but anyway. Now I have a quick connect that a subscriber named Jay sent me, and I recommend you use these. They'll make things a lot easier for you, but that's not required, and that doesn't change the way this works one bit. Okay, and you can see my lawn is looking tired, so it's definitely in need of this right now. By the way, you don't have to wear PPE for this. I just wear these gloves here because of the fact that I don't want to get it on my hands. It's just a little harder to wash off, but it will not hurt you, so don't worry about that. So if my rate is 6 ounces per 1,000 and I have 2,000 square feet, I need 12 ounces of humic 12. All right, now I'm gonna pour this 12 ounces into the tank. And I'm gonna fill the rest of the tank with water. This is one of the secrets, one of the keys right here. So the tank is now full. It doesn't matter that you water this concentrate down in here. It doesn't matter one bit. Now there are certain pesticides and things that allow you to spray from hose end sprayers, and you can't do that. But this is just humic acid. The other one we're gonna do is just a fertilizer. It's perfectly fine, because this is what's gonna give you that extra ability, number 1, to thin out the product. Whoa, but then, don't do that. But then number 2, it's gonna give you the ability to have more time to spray. Now, so for those of you that want a foolproof setting, put your concentrate in the tank, fill the tank up with water to the top, put this on 8, and you have 2 minutes to spray out that entire tank. Never do more than 2,000 square feet with one tank. That's your set and forget. One more time. Put your concentrate into the tank. In our case, we're using humic 12, and it's 6 ounces per 1,000, so we put 12 ounces of concentrate in here. We filled the rest up with water. We set it to 8, and now I'm telling you that you have 2 minutes to cover your 2,000 square feet. That's all you need to know. Now the only thing left is the spraying and the praying.
Caught by a feeling, goes beyond the right or wrong, gets me what I want. I'm hanging by a string, gotta get up on my feet, get to what I need, and I am flying through the streets on neon wings. Once I get to you, I don't want anything. Girl, I'm so addicted. Predicted, I know, down, shut me down. Can't you see that? I wanna taste the night. I can hear the calling. And
Just a tiny bit left, no big deal. You can just... Okay, now when you're done with your application, you might have a little bit left in the corner. Just fill that up. It makes it real dark, but that was just a tiny little bit left in the corner. Just give that to your favorite plant and we'll love it. And then what you want to do is fill this up with water and then go ahead and clean it all out. This is in between every application. Give this a couple tugs while it's down in the water. And now you're ready for your next application. All right, now microgreen, a little bit different, and that is because microgreen has the ability to change the color of the lawn. It's got iron in it. So 2 things for that. Number 1 is we have to be a little more precision here. And then secondly, you don't want to get this on any driveways or sidewalks because it'll stain them orange. Always shake really well. And I tend to pour this in a much more controlled environment because I don't want to spill it or take a chance on getting it on my driveway. So I'll pour that in here. Now the rate we're going with is exactly the same, 6 ounces per 1,000 square feet. Now you can go much heavier with this, like here in Florida, you can do blackouts and stuff like that. But me, I put this down monthly in the summer at 6 ounces per 1,000, and it keeps my lawn nice and green. You don't necessarily need the heavier doses of it, unless you want to. But in that case, I'm gonna recommend then you go to a pump sprayer, which I'll show you in a minute. But for these applications with a hose-end sprayer, I recommend you stay at 6 ounces per 1,000 and still only do 2,000 square feet at a time. If you need a bigger pop, just do more applications more often, say every couple weeks. You certainly can do that if you want to. Okay, haven't put it in yet. This is just water because that's off. I always wet my sidewalks first in case I get any overspray. This will help me clean it up better. Again, you don't want orange stains, so I always wet my sidewalks first. I am going to do a trim pass, and I'm going to do my best not to get anything on the sidewalks, but if you pre-wet them, it'll allow you to have time to get back to rinse off so you get no stains. All right, same as before. I'm going to put this on 8, and I'm going to have 2 minutes to do this area. There we go. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change, I call this the Kimlon gun. It just gives you more of a shower head spray that I actually can control a little bit better. And I definitely want to do that, especially with this trim pass. You didn't see me do a trim pass with the humic 12 because I don't really care so much if that gets a perfect even coat. But this I do, again, because this can change the color of the lawn. Now you'll see me going to a lot of trouble to move my hose. That's because I don't like spraying my hose. You can, it doesn't hurt anything. It's just over time they become sticky. So I personally don't like spraying the hose. That's just me. So I go to a little more extra time to move it. So look, you can see I was able to get that down with no problem, no clogs, no burps. And trust me, I've been there before. That's why I know it does burp. When you start trying to put down too much, you try to fill that tank all the way up with concentrate, that's when you get the burps, that's when you get frustrated. So just do it like I taught you here, and I promise it's gonna work for you, it's gonna work a lot better. Now, hey y'all, real quick, so today is Sunday, in the middle of the edit, I wanted to break in here. So a couple things, I left all the music out of that last segment because I wanted you to hear the microgreen goes through just fine. No burps, everything works good. But what I want to do here real quick is show you exactly why too much concentrate isn't going to work through the Ortho Dial N Spray. And I'm going to break one apart. I'm going to take one for the theme over here, and I'm going to break one apart for you. So check this out. Oh man, now it's really starting to be like an AVE video, isn't it? Let's get underneath the petticoats here. Looks like we got an ABS plastic diaphragm going on there. Good enough for the girls I go out with. All right, enough AVE stuff. I'm not anywhere near that level. But this is painful. Even though it's $10, it's still painful to have to. I probably could put it back together, but I don't think I'm gonna have the patience for that. Oh yeah. Huh? So what I really want to show you is, this is all where the mixing occurs, all in here and everything, but what I wanted to show you was what's attached to this straw. This one is brand new, it hasn't been circumcised, but so remember, yours will be like that. So it's gonna suck the concentrate right out of the tank there, push it up through here, and then it goes through a hole that's in this dial. Now let me show you these holes, because it's coming up through the hole and it's sticking it up in here. Probably see right through there. It's pushing the concentrate up in here. So you have water coming in here and you have concentrate coming in here, and it mixes in real time right there, and then it sprays out the business end. But let me just show you these tiny little holes, and this is why I don't want you to use too much concentrate. So here it is. Look at these little bad boys, huh? Can you see that? Look at how tiny those little holes are. Now they're not lined up perfectly. This is the largest hole, so this is actually the 8-inch hole right here. That's what she said. And you can see the 8 is over here. So I don't know, there's some sort of rigmarole in there that does that. But that's the largest hole. See how tiny that is? That's the largest one that you got. So that's why if you're trying to shove too much concentrate through there at one time, that's gonna get backed up. That's why we don't shove so much through all in one try. Now, that's just all I wanted to show you. If you're somebody that's brand new, just forget this section of the video. Just walk away, you'll be fine. But for those of you that are a little bit more advanced, I just wanted to show you why sometimes it is too, why sometimes it does get clogged up when you try to put too much concentrate through at one time. Last thing here, the only one you really have a challenge with is the 002 microgreen, and that's because there are some slight grits in there. It's a little gritty. Some of you would say, well, maybe you should filter out the grit, but the grit is the good stuff. That's the stuff that gets down in there. That's the actual nutrient grit. So you don't want that taken out. That's why I give you these, strategies or ways to get things done, or ways to, modify things so you can keep that grit, to get the results that you want. Okay, now next thing, I just want to make clear, you don't have to try and mix all 4 biostimulants all together in one big miracle application. You haven't missed out on anything. Even if you're starting late, just start in the schedule where it is. Either use the app or look below. You're not missing out on anything. Just start now and make improvements going forward. However, if you do want to do heavier apps of one app, of one product, or you do want to mix them together because you just have to do that, then I'm going to recommend you go to either a backpack sprayer or a pump sprayer like I'm going to show you here. So this will handle more concentrates. Now there is a limit to this too, but I want to show you. Watch, we're going to put microgreen in and we're going to put it in pretty heavy here and it'll spray really well for you. If you do want to do heavier apps or you don't like a hose and sprayer, because to be honest with you, I don't like having to drag hose. I just don't. You probably don't either. You can use a pump sprayer then. It's a much cleaner application and you can do heavier apps with that because pump sprayers, if you have a good one like I'm going to show you with a good tip on it, can typically handle a little bit more. So let's do some more microgreen in another spot. Let's do a heavier app and let's do it with the pump sprayer. Now this is a 2-gallon pump sprayer though, so we're still going to stay at 2,000 square feet max. If you want to apply the principles I'm about to show you now, you could use a 4-gallon backpack and you could do 4,000 square feet at one time. But for me, 2,000 square feet with a 2-gallon sprayer. All right, so we'll go for a little heavier shot over here on a zoysia, and that's the Lawns Blackout. We won't get into that, but this is approved for Florida Blackout if you're there. 10 ounces per thousand. Heck, let's go 12 ounces per thousand. Why not? So you can go between 10 and 16, but 12 is plenty, trust me. I got some rocks over here to fill in, so I'm not so concerned if I spill anything. So I need 24 ounces, that's right there. Oh yeah, we got 24 though. There we go, oh, a little more. So this is a Field King sprayer. It's a 2-gallon, and I have this flood jet tip on here. I'll link to both of those below. This does not come with it, but this is the key to success because with this tip, you can get this 2 gallons to spray out. Well, I'm gonna spill this if I'm not careful. With that tip, you can get the 2 gallons to spray out in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So it's similar to the last time. You have a little longer with this, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. It's plenty of time. It's an easy walk. It's not a lazy walk, but it's a fairly easy walk to get your 2,000 square foot done. And it's battery powered. This is a battery compressor. I highly recommend that any of you that are gonna do any kind of lawn work at all, get a battery sprayer. This is a 89 bucks. They have a Scott's version that's like 79 bucks. I'll link to both below. It's the same thing, same maker. But I promise you, it's a good investment if you're gonna do lawn care, you know, more than just once a year. All right, so put a little water in first. Okay, put in our concentrates. There we go, 24 ounces. Just so you know, if you get this sprayer, it's shaped like a bowling pin, kind of like me. But the fill line, the max fill line is right there. You don't bring it all the way up to here. Max fill is right there. It's a little bit confusing because of that shape. Another tip I'll give you, be careful because you're stepping in stuff that has iron on it. If you step on there, you can get footprints. So what I'll do is I'll have a little Mr. Rogers action going on over here. Take my spray boots off, slip on my Sperry's. Won't you please, oh won't you please, please won't you let me dominate you as my neighbor. Hello neighbor. All right, so there you go. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on my irrigation because you definitely wanna water this in. when you're using a pump sprayer. I water it in after I use the hose end too with a 1/4 inch, but I'll get a good 1/2 inch on this. This is actually still called Frankenlawn over here for those of you that have been around for a couple years. All right, y'all, so that's all I have for you today. Listen, I promise you next weekend I have a really well thought out, really well researched, actually I've been shooting it for a couple weeks, video coming up. That's why this one isn't, you know, quite as technical as I want. If you want a technical video, again, I have the podcast I did, but then also last week I did a really technical, when I say technical, I mean a lot of teaching and understanding and philosophy. Hey, quiet down. You know, a lot of stuff where I really go in depth about sod webworm, insects in the lawn. You can check that out too. Again, sometimes I have to make these videos because I get a ton of questions, and I know they're helpful for a good majority of the audience. For the rest of you, please just bear with me till next week, when I promise you I got something really good coming for you. And guess what? It uses store-bought products. And with that, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Enjoy the rest of your Independence Day weekend. Stay cool, and I'll see you in the lawn.